Right now on Denver 7 News at 6 a.m., fallout after Aurora's police chief is fired.
I'm Denver 7's Colette Bordelon this morning. City leaders explain their decision while laying out a new timeline to find a replacement.
Plus, potentially contaminated cold cuts. The warning from local health officials after a King Soopers employee tests positive for hepatitis A.
And final preparations are underway for the Rockies opening day. The game will include a special appearance from the Broncos' new quarterback.
I guess I gotta go to the game, right? And maybe I'll bring my glove.
Yeah, we hope so. All eyes will be on the first pitch tomorrow. Russell Wilson, a former baseball player himself, will be throwing it out. We'll see what he can do right off the bat. We're going to be live from Coors Field tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, happy Thursday to you. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Jessica Crawford. Temperatures are starting to warm up, but you'll still see high winds today. Lisa has your Denver 7 forecast.
Yeah, the good news is it'll be a lot calmer tomorrow for the game, which is going to be nice. But you're right, this morning we're waking up still to wind speeds anywhere from 30 to near 40 miles per hour over the eastern plains. This is going to be one of the gustiest spots east of I-25. Still seeing some pretty gusty conditions over Berthoud Pass as well. Here in town, we do still have high fire danger. That's going to cover the entire front range until early tonight. 31 right now in Denver. It feels like 23, so those winds out of the northwest are going to make it feel quite a bit colder this morning. Sunshine's going to help, though, and things are going to warm up a little more today. Right around freezing here by 7 o'clock, and then your dog walking forecast between 5 and 6. Mid to upper 50s, windy, but again, a little more mild than what we saw yesterday. We have Denver at 57, same thing there in Boulder, low 50s near Castle Rock and Parker, and 40s for the foothills. It'll be a good 10 degrees warmer by tomorrow afternoon. I'll have your Rockies home opener forecast coming up. Plus, there's another cold front. We get a 2-day break, Jason, from the cooler weather. Another storm hits on Sunday. Details coming up.
And save your purple for tomorrow for the Rockies opening day. We will have full coverage of that tomorrow. Right now, we had a semi that lost its tandem trailer. You've seen those trailers that have like two right next to each other. Take a look here. Just a moment ago, Air Tracker 7 was over it, and this truck, this one, lost the second trailer. So they had to bring in a big tow truck to haul it out of here. This is the westbound side of I-76, right over top of I-25, and they had to close down the highway temporarily for about 10 minutes to get all lanes open. And now all lanes are open, which is good news for us, but we did have a little bit of a backup in that area. The rest of the drive looks just fine, whether it's I-25, the other side of I-76, to or from the airport, or that south side of town. So it's a good start for most of us here this morning, and no lingering construction around town just yet.
Jason, thank you. Well, community leaders and activists are speaking out after Aurora fired its police chief.
Yeah, the city manager made it official yesterday, but it's 2 weeks after Denver 7 first reported that Vanessa Wilson was on her way out. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon is live with what comes next for a community clearly frustrated by the ongoing turmoil within the police department.
Yeah, and Division Chief Chris Jewell right here. He's going to be in charge temporarily while the city works to find the new face of the Aurora Police Department. An interim chief should be picked in the next couple of weeks, and the goal is to have a new chief named in the next 6 months. Of course, that is all the timeline being laid out right now. Aurora's city manager says the decision to fire former police chief Vanessa Wilson came down to two main concerns: overall management and leadership of the department. But Wilson's attorneys say her firing is without cause. For her part, she released a statement through her legal counsel saying she's proud of the progress the department has made and that the department will continue to protect and serve regardless of who leads the agency. Her firing comes just a day after an independent report was released, which criticized a backlog of investigations in the department that are still waiting to be processed by the records department. But the city manager says Wilson was not fired because of the records problem, saying it really came down to a lack of confidence in Wilson.
As a leader in the community, I think she excelled. I think that she did, in terms of the many crises that we have experienced, I think she did very well in responding to those. I think obviously that was her strength, and she deserves accolades for that. But as I said, there's more to managing a police department than that aspect of it.
Wilson will get a severance package, more than $200,000, which is a year's pay. She'll also get her benefits. We'll be watching the search for a new chief closely. Live in the studio.
Colette, thank you. While the city manager has his version of what happened, activists say Wilson was making progress in building trust between communities of color and police. Community activists Angelia Baker and Aurora NAACP President Omar Montgomery say Wilson was the first police chief in the metro who showed that she cared about her community, but now they're afraid that that trust will be lost again.
I don't think it helped. I think if anything, it may increase that divide.
Even if she didn't agree with us, she at least heard us. She showed her face in the community. I can't say the same about other city leaders.
Baker says the community should consider recalls for leaders who backed the city manager's decision to fire Wilson.
We do have an update to breaking news we first brought you yesterday morning. Investigators in Aurora say a 17-year-old is now facing arson charges in connection to 10 different fires set in one neighborhood, all back to back. It happened at an apartment complex near Iliff Avenue and Peoria Street. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but 10 people did have to leave their homes. Colorado is seeing a surge in fentanyl deaths, especially among younger people. And in a few hours, federal prosecutors and local police will highlight what's being done to keep our community safe. So this morning, we're taking a 360 in-depth look at their efforts, the current push from state lawmakers to increase penalties for distributing the drug, the progress that a new bill has made so far, and the new statewide survey showing what voters think should change. So we want to start with Denver 7's Veronica Acosta this morning. And Veronica, everyone wants to stop these overdose deaths, but how to do that is up for debate.
That's exactly it. And we have results of a new survey that I'll share with you in just a minute here. But first, police and prosecutors, they will be highlighting the, quote, alarming increase of fentanyl deaths. They call this a public health crisis. Down in the Springs, they're going to be gathering to talk about what exactly they're doing on both a state and federal level to really try and turn the tide here. If you remember, just 2 weeks ago, that group of bipartisan lawmakers, they announced a bill to do just that. That bill increases penalties for smaller amounts of the drug, and in cases where dealing with the drug causes death, it also aims to widely increase access to things like fentanyl strips, Narcan, even treatment for those who are suffering from addiction. While the bill was widely applauded by those lawmakers involved, a new poll shows Coloradans may not be so thrilled. It found about 3 out of 4 Colorado voters agree that when it comes to addressing drug-related issues, the state should be focusing more on prevention and treatment, less on punishment and jail time. The poll also found most Colorado voters oppose increasing the penalty for drug possession from a misdemeanor to a felony. As for that bill, lawmakers will continue discussing it. The next discussion is set for Tuesday of next week. And of course, we'll keep you updated on what comes of that. We're in Wheat Ridge this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Yeah, something has to happen soon here. A trial begins today for an Aurora man charged in the overdose death of a 16-year-old girl. Jorge Chiquiab is facing more than a dozen charges, including murder. The teen, who was from Lakewood, died from mixed alcohol and fentanyl poisoning back in 2020. Prosecutors say she thought she was taking Oxycontin. He admitted to investigators he provided the drugs and alcohol that killed her. He's also facing sexual assault charges. Also, just this week, this Brighton couple was charged with child abuse resulting in death after their 1-year-old died. Blood tests showed the little girl had 10 times the amount of fentanyl needed to kill an adult. So our in-depth coverage on solutions to the fentanyl crisis will continue throughout the day. Coming up tonight on Denver 7 News at 10 p.m., Denver 7 Investigates uncovers proof that accused serious drug offenders in Denver are falling through the judicial cracks. Our chief investigator, Tony Kowaleski, questions city leaders about why some suspects are walking away without any accountability.
1 week from today, the Adams 14 School District will present its case to the state, vowing it can turn things around on its own. The district has been plagued by low performance and lagging enrollment for more than a decade. One group of parents says a path forward for the district has to be decided by community members that are being served. One mother told us the only thing that the district needs to improve is more support and cultural understanding.
You need to meet us halfway. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to have our public schools open. We don't want them to close. We don't want to say no to our kids.
District leaders must present a plan for improvement by April 14th. This morning, crews in Boulder are working to repair this sinkhole that trapped an RTD bus. This was at Arapahoe and Commerce. Police say 6 people on the bus got off safely. The bus has since been removed. Jason Luber now has a look at the roads.
And this area still is closed down right there from 55th all the way over here on the westbound side of Arapahoe. The eastbound side of Arapahoe is open, but westbound is closed down back at 55th. So you can use either Pearl Parkway just to the north or Baseline just to the south to get over here to Foothills Parkway.
Right now we're looking at, you can see from that shot, a little bit of cloud cover out in the background, but it's going to be a mostly sunny day today. Fresh air forecast. It's cold this morning. If your kids want to bike to school, we're going to be right around freezing early on between about 6 and 8 o'clock, and then it'll warm up nicely from there. Warmer today, mid 40s by 11. Still windy at times, gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. I'll show you how things are going to really calm down and clear out tomorrow coming up.
Your next Uber or Lyft ride could cost a little bit more thanks to a bill headed to the governor's desk. Why the companies say it'll drive up the cost.
Also, we're painting the town purple. Final preparations are underway for the Rockies home opener tomorrow. We're going to hear from Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson as he gets ready to throw out the ceremonial first pitch.